All right, good morning, class, and welcome to week number 13. That is right, week number 13 of your 9410 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Alston, and we are almost at the end, folks. So the way the math goes is that it's 13, 14, 15. And week 15 is your last week. So we have 3 weeks worth of material left. And from then, you will have successfully completed this course. So I appreciate you all being along for the journey, along for the ride here. You all have done a fantastic job. And we don't have very far to go. This week, we will be concentrating on women in cultural heritage as a topic. So we have a video for you to watch. There's an interview of me interviewing a scholar, Alexandria Russell, and then we also have some readings for you all, and then we get to close out the semester with lighter topics for weeks 14 and 15. Week 14 is going to be food, and week 15 is going to be forgotten heritage. Before we even get into before I even start talking a little bit about the women in cultural heritage module and why that even exists, let me go over here, and what we're going to do is we are actually going to very quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you all to so I did do a 1 day grace period, so you have now until because this weekend was a holiday, you have now until Monday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time to turn in your mini interview with a cultural heritage worker. If you still have not done that, and I have mentioned it in the past two check-in videos, and I actually also mentioned it in the text of the check-in video announcement week before last week. So you all should be aware that this was coming up as due. I sent out reminders for 2 weeks. So yeah, if you have not done it, you do have Monday to try to find somebody last minute and get them to provide these answers for you, and then post them in the discussion area where it belongs. It is worth 5 points. Point deductions, if it's not turned in, will begin on Tuesday. But the reason why I do this as a discussion board post, and the reason why this assignment even exists in the first place, is because it is vocational guidance, folks. So the reason why this is here is because some of you, I know all of you, well, not all of you, but most of you are in this class and in this program to work in GLAM, galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. But not all of you are going to end up wanting to work in a library. Not all of you are going to want to stay in libraries if you start working in libraries. Some people, they work in libraries and then they just kind of decide, oh, I don't really like libraries, or oh, I don't really like librarians. And so they leave. And I've seen that a lot. My first library job was in 2008, and I was actually doing library work since 2006 as a student. So I say that to say that I've seen a lot of people just come and go into this profession, come into the profession, and then leave the profession over the course of my many, many, many years. And I say that to say that, yes, not all of you are going to want to remain in libraries and come into libraries. It just is what it is, and there's no shame in that. But for those of you who decide to leave libraries, this may be an opportunity for you to see what other types of adjacent work your MLIS degree may be able to get you. So that's why this is a discussion board post. I will advise you all to make time within the next 3 to 4 weeks to actually review these posts so that you can see what other types of cultural heritage work there is out there, and to see exactly how to get into that work based on what the interviewees stated. So that's the thing as far as that assignment, and really the only assignment that's not a discussion board assignment once you get this interview done. The only assignment that's not a discussion board assignment from there is your final, whether that's a final project you did or whether you elected to do a final paper, okay? So we are winding down, and again, you all have been a good class, and congratulations for the wind down, and I hope you all finish strong. Having said that, the next thing we're going to do is, yes, we're going to go back to the women and cultural heritage thing, and I'm gonna try to keep this video under 15 minutes because, as I said, you do have a video. This is my interview with Dr. Alexandria Russell, who I met while I was in graduate school, while I was in my PhD program at the University of South Carolina, and she is a history PhD, but she did her dissertation on the commemoration of Black women in this country, and it was such a good she gave so many good insights, and it was such a good interview that I was just like, how do I keep that interview as part of the class? Because it was originally just my check-in video material for one of the weeks that I had done a excuse me, for one of the weeks that I had, I'm drawing a blank, for one of the weeks that I had done a check-in video. I just decided to have her as a special guest for the check-in video, and the interview was so good that I was just like, and she's talking about something that's not talked about enough, which is women and cultural heritage. So how do I save that? And so originally there was not a women and cultural heritage module in this class that was added so that I could keep this video in the course, and because the video did help me see that there was a need to have that type of a module. So having said that, one of the bad ironies that we run into in libraries is that the libraries have, and cultural heritage work in general, I would say, it's women-dominated work, and yet it mostly records and archives and makes available the work of men. So that is a phenomenon that happens within this cultural heritage arena, that we have a lot of women doing the work, but not a lot of women are celebrated, not a lot of women are commemorated, and the work that these women are doing is mostly preserving, celebrating, commemorating, etc. men. And so we need to, for one thing, change foci a little bit, so that we do say that, hey, women are worth being commemorated. Women have contributed a lot to our society. We cannot be a species without women. And so, yes, we do need to honor the important women who have shaped history, who have shaped the identities of nations and cultures, and there have been a lot of them. And unfortunately, probably a lot of them are even just lost to history, forgotten heritage, because we spent so much time focusing on commemoration of the work that men did. And so not only, there are those other obstacles, of course, wherein women weren't even allowed in earlier times in the West to even do the ground setting work, and they were, marginalized and everything. But even going beyond the patriarchal society not allowing women to do the important work, even when women broke through those barriers and did the important work regardless, their contributions were not honored the way they should have been honored, and were not recorded and commemorated the way that they should have been. So I am hoping that we will see a change of that in the future, or a change of that as of now. And I do think that it started a little bit, and we do have readings that call attention to this phenomenon in this week. So commemorating Sojourner Truth, celebrating women protecting cultural heritage. This is just a really quick slideshow that'll show you some women that are doing heritage work today. This is a very important article from the Smithsonian. It is way too hard to find statues of notable women. Way too hard. And also the WAPO has a similar article here for you all to read. We had a second DeVito reading that was really good that we lost access to, so I had to remove that, but we still have this DeVito reading, and it's still fairly good. And then I actually love this right here. So the South Carolina Gamecocks, they won their second national title in women's basketball this year, a few weeks ago, actually. And but they won their first when Aja Wilson, who now plays for the Las Vegas Aces, she led the team to their first national championship. And this is just a very good story that was very well done, very well written. wherein Asia talks about, well, there's been a statue of Asia installed on the University of South Carolina campus, and Asia talks about how much pride it gives her to be commemorated on a campus that her grandmother wasn't even allowed to walk on that campus. And so that's pretty amazing stuff. And I think it just speaks to, you can feel that there's some emotion in Asia as she recalls that story. And so there is just that human element again that can go unrecognized if we don't commemorate those who deserve to be commemorated, and if we do have classes of humans that we decide aren't worthy of commemoration. So we've got to avoid doing those things, okay? And then you've got some optional readings, which I do recommend some of these. For those of you who don't know, the current Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden, she is both the first woman Librarian of Congress, and she is the first African American Librarian of Congress, and then also she is the first Librarian of Congress to have a master's degree in library science. A lot of the librarians of Congress have actually been like historians or other people like that who didn't have any library degree. There have been some librarians of Congress who had bachelor's degrees in library science, but Dr. Carla Hayden, she's the first one to have a master's degree in library science, okay? And then also, this is just a good page, I think, to be aware of. So there is a Wikipedia page that's the category is monuments and memorials to women. And so you can kind of see some examples, but also you can kind of see the limitations as well. Not that, and I'm not saying that Wikipedia is exhaustive by any means. Of course it isn't. Of course there are things that exist that aren't recorded here, but also it's pretty shocking that you have here monuments and memorials to women. There are only 117 pages that are even pinned or pegged in this area, and I think that in and of itself is a little shameful. So I hope you all enjoyed this unit. I hope that, and my class here is mostly women as well, and I hope that all of you, when you get into heritage work, that you are unabashed and unashamed as far as doing heritage work that focuses on women. I just want you all to feel empowered to commemorate women, to empower other women to come into this field, to empower other women to just there just needs to be really just across the board empowerment of women, and men also need to be involved in that. And so this is a very small thing that I've done, but it's not nearly enough. But I would say it's at least a small thing that I've done to have this module in here and to recognize that it deserves an entire module. Again, that's very small, and there's a lot more that I really should be doing. But I do feel also that every little bit counts, and so I'm very glad that I replaced this was the second week of the Confederate commemoration, and I'm very glad that I replaced that with this module focusing on women. So having said that, again, I hope you all sped this up, but we're going to keep this under 15 minutes. So as always, I am Dr. Jace, and don't just commemorate men, because if you do, you're off base. All right, you all have a good one, and I'll see you next week for the food.